Hello, friend, and welcome to the Sleepy Meteorologist. Tonight, we're drifting gently into the swirling heart of hurricanes, those vast, spiraling storms that breathe over the sea, slow and mighty. Their voices echo across oceans, their winds curl like lullabies through the clouds. But don't worry, we won't be caught in the storm. We'll only watch from a safe, quiet distance, like dreamers curled beneath blankets of starlight. Maybe your day has been long, or maybe you're just ready to unwind. You've arrived at a soft pause, a moment just for you. What's the sky doing where you are tonight? Is it calm, cloudy, whispering with wind? Maybe the moon is peeking through broken cloud layers. Maybe it's just you and the hush of twilight. If you enjoy these calming meteorology journeys, feel free to like or subscribe, only if it brings you peace. This space is always here when you need a gentle drift into dreams. For now, you can snuggle in. Let your breathing slow. There's nothing you need to do but rest. Let's begin. Hello again, and welcome back to the Sleepy Meteorologist. Tonight, we find ourselves floating far above the ocean, where clouds curl like spun silk over blue water. We're approaching one of Earth's most awe-inspiring natural wonders, a hurricane. But don't worry, we're only observing from a peaceful distance, as though watching a celestial ballet unfold below us. No danger here, only rhythm, only flow. A hurricane, you see, is a living spiral. It spins slowly, majestically, like a planet of air, breathing in long tidal cycles. At its center is something surprising: stillness. This is the eye. Roughly 20 to 40 miles wide, the eye is calm, an eerie, beautiful calm, surrounded by the most powerful parts of the storm. Inside the eye, the winds soften, the clouds open up, the sun might even peek through. It's as if the storm itself pauses for a breath. But surrounding this peaceful center is the eye wall, a circular wall of towering thunderclouds, thick and mighty. This is where the storm's winds reach their greatest strength, whirling faster than a racehorse galloping through the sky. Within the eye wall, rain falls in sheets. Lightning pulses in the clouds like fireflies caught in a whirlwind. Air rises with incredible force, like steam escaping a kettle. All while the storm continues its grand, spiraling dance. And spiraling it is. Extending outward from the eye wall are the rain bands, long, sweeping arms of wind, rain, and cloud that wrap around the hurricane's body. They can stretch for hundreds of miles, like ribbons of water reaching toward distant coasts. Within these bands, showers drift in and out. Winds rise and fall. It's not a constant roar, but more like a slow breath. Storm, then pause, then storm again. If we could see it from above, perhaps from a satellite gliding quietly through space, the hurricane would look like a great spinning pinwheel, a spiral galaxy made not of stars, but of water and wind. Every part of this structure has a role. Warm air rises at the center. Cool air sinks around it. Moisture condenses into towering clouds. And the Earth's spin, something called the Coriolis effect, nudges the storm into a perfect spiral. It's nature's symmetry at work, a system of balance, rotation, and energy. And yet, despite the strength held within it, a hurricane is fragile too. If it moves over land or colder water, it begins to lose strength. Its perfect structure unravels. Its breath slows. Its clouds fall apart like mist dissolving in morning light. Tonight, we're not worrying about where the storm is headed or what it might do. We're simply floating above it in quiet awe, watching the cloud tops swirl in soft, mesmerizing rhythm. The eye wall, the arms of rain, each one moving with purpose, each one part of a breathing, spiraling whole. And as we drift gently away from the storm's great turning heart, let your thoughts spiral too, slowly, gently, into the eye of your own rest. No need to hold on to anything, just float and sleep. Tonight, dear listener, we begin with warmth, a deep, slow warmth that rises quietly from the surface of the sea. It's the kind of warmth you don't see, only feel, the kind that hums beneath the waves, especially in late summer when the ocean has been soaking in sunlight for months. It begins there, in that invisible breath of heated water, a whisper of warmth rising into cooler air above. This is how hurricanes are born. It starts as a simple updraft, warm, moist air lifting into the atmosphere, cooling, condensing, and forming clouds. As more warm air rushes in to replace it, the process continues. A gentle cycle, building slowly. These early clusters of clouds are called tropical disturbances. They swirl lazily at first, like dancers unsure of the rhythm. Some drift apart, but others hold together. If the ocean is warm enough, about 80 degrees Fahrenheit or more, and the air above isn't too hostile, the disturbance begins to strengthen. It forms a low-pressure center, an area where air sinks and spirals. The winds start circling, and the dance begins. With time, this gathering of air and water earns a name: tropical depression. Still small, still soft, but organized now, spinning with gentle intent. As more warm, moist air is drawn in, the pressure drops further. The winds increase, the storm grows. Eventually, it reaches tropical storm status. Winds over 39 miles per hour now, strong enough to twist palm fronds and ruffle waves. It's no longer just a disturbance. It has structure. It has direction. If conditions remain just right, if wind shear is low, if the waters stay warm, if the system doesn't drift over land, then the storm may strengthen further still. And when the winds reach 74 miles per hour, it is named a hurricane. Born from the quiet breath of the sea, this storm now carries its own rhythm, a powerful spiral fed by warmth, moisture, and motion. And yet, it's important to remember, even at its most intense, a hurricane is still a product of balance. Warm air rising, cool air falling, energy exchanging hands between ocean and sky. There's no malice in its making, no intent, only the unfolding of nature's deep, rhythmic patterns. Tonight, we aren't rushing through the science. We're floating through it, gently. We're watching the clouds gather like threads in a loom. We're listening to the wind find its spin. There is something tender in the making of a storm, something poetic in the way heat becomes motion and motion becomes weather. And so, as you rest, let yourself imagine the hush beneath those first clouds, the warm ocean breathing softly into the sky, the beginning of something vast, not loud, but luminous. Sleep like a storm begins with stillness, with breath, with warmth. Let yours carry you there now, drifting gently into the quiet swirl of dreams. Welcome back, friend. Tonight, we drift inward, not into danger, but into an unexpected quiet, a stillness hidden at the heart of a mighty force. We are entering the eye of the storm. From above, a hurricane swirls in wide spirals, like an ancient fingerprint pressed into the sky. Its arms extend for hundreds of miles, spinning clouds, rain, and wind in rhythmic waves. But at its center, something different unfolds. A circle of calm, the eye. Roughly 20 to 40 miles across, this space is startlingly serene, as if the storm itself has paused to breathe. Here, the sky may part, revealing streaks of blue or the golden face of the sun. The wind, once fierce, now barely whispers. Raindrops stop falling. Even the air feels warmer. But make no mistake, this calm is not weakness. It is the eye of a giant, a deep, windless center formed by rising and sinking air in perfect symmetry. To understand it, we can imagine the storm like a spinning top. Its outer edge is where the chaos lives, where clouds build and winds roar. But in the very center, the spin quiets, creating a lull that feels both peaceful and surreal. It's created by descending air, a gentle downdraft pressing softly toward the surface, drying the sky, calming the wind. This descent is what keeps the eye so clear, so open. It's like the hush inside a cathedral, surrounded by thunder, yet untouched by it. For those who've passed through it, pilots, scientists, and even those on land caught in a storm's path, the experience can feel uncanny. To go from screaming winds to still silence in a matter of minutes, it feels almost sacred. Birds may reappear. Palm fronds, moments ago bent and battered, now sway lazily. Footsteps echo differently. And far across the horizon, one can often see the wall of clouds circling like distant mountains, the hurricane's eye wall, where the storms might still lives and breathes. But here, in the eye, there is pause, stillness, safety, if only for a moment, because the eye moves, and as it passes, so does the calm. Soon, the opposite side of the eye wall arrives, bringing back the winds, the rain, the roar. But tonight, we don't need to think of that. We are not caught in the storm. We are simply resting in the middle of it, floating quietly in a suspended hush. Let this place remind you of your own inner stillness, that quiet center you carry inside, even when thoughts swirl like clouds, even when the day has spun fast around you. There is always a calm beneath it all, so breathe with the storm now. Inhale, exhale, and feel the soft space at the center. You are in the eye now, clear, calm, and gently turning in your own time. Let the silence guide you deeper into sleep. Tonight, we return to the edges of stillness, to the sacred ring that surrounds the calm. This is the eye wall, the most powerful part of the hurricane, where air rises fast and fierce, where clouds tower like fortresses, and winds bend the world into their rhythm. Imagine it, a circular wall of thunderclouds, wrapping around the quiet eye like a protective crown. Within this ring, the storm reveals its full strength. Winds can reach 100 miles per hour, sometimes more. Rain falls in torrents. The sky pulses with flickers of lightning, and every gust carries the weight of the ocean's breath. This is not the erratic chaos of a thunderstorm. No, the eye wall moves with precision. It is a relentless loop, a sculpted edge of energy, balanced and roaring. Here, air rises with extraordinary force. Warm, moist air from the ocean rushes upward into colder layers, condensing into massive clouds. This rising air feeds the storm, like a flame that's fanned again and again. At the same time, winds spiral inward and upward, wrapping tightly around the center. This tight rotation, so smooth, so fast, is what keeps the storm alive. Inside the eye wall, cloud tops can rise over 50,000 feet, as high as the cruising altitude of a jet plane. These are not ordinary clouds. They are columns of power, shaped by heat, motion, and the curve of the Earth itself. From space, the eye wall appears as a brilliant white ring, perfectly defined, almost unreal. For those who pass through it, pilots in Hurricane Hunter aircrafts, the transition is profound. Turbulence turns to silence, and then back to turbulence. The passage from eye wall to eye is like stepping through a doorway from thunder into peace. But tonight, we are not braving that wind. We are only observing, from a place of quiet awe. Let's walk the circle together, slowly, gently, as if tracing the rim of a porcelain bowl. Outside, the spiraling rain bands stretch away like outstretched arms. Inside, the eye remains still, and in between, this ring, this breathless ring, is where the storm does its deepest work. It might seem strange that so much power lives here, but the universe often places intensity beside calm, storm beside silence, night beside dawn. So, as we rest tonight, think of the eye wall not as a threat, but as a boundary, a moment of transition between force and quiet. And remember too, that even the strongest storms are part of a cycle. They rise, they spin, they fade. Nothing lasts forever. So take another deep breath. Let the winds circle far away, and know that you are safe here, drifting on the edges of a storm, wrapped in softness. Sleep now. You've seen the fiercest part, and found calm in the center. Welcome back, dear friend. Tonight, we drift outward from the eye, away from the towering eye wall, and into the gentle spiral arms that stretch far across the sea. These are the rain bands, graceful curving bands of cloud, wind, and water that wrap around a hurricane like the slow turning grooves of a seashell. From space, they look like ribbons unfurling across the ocean, curved lines delicately drawn by nature's invisible hand. They swirl around the storm's center, reaching out like open arms, sometimes hundreds of miles long, yet always connected to the breathing heart at the core. These spiral bands are not just beautiful, they are essential. They carry the storm's voice outward, bringing rain, wind, and rhythm to distant shores. Within each band, clusters of thunderstorms form and reform, not all at once, but in scattered patches, like rain falling in waves, with quiet spaces in between. This pulsing pattern, rain, then pause, then rain again, gives the storm a musical quality, a natural cadence that feels more like a lullaby than a roar. The rain bands are made when moist, warm air spirals inward toward the center of the storm, rising as it moves, cooling, condensing, becoming clouds. Each band holds its own weather, a momentary world of wind, water, and sky. Some bands bring heavy rain, others bring only soft showers or wisps of cloud, drifting like sea foam in the air. In between them, there are breaks, clear pockets where the sky might open, letting a little sun through, or a breeze that doesn't carry the weight of a storm. If you were standing along a coast, waiting for a distant hurricane to pass by, you might notice the arrival of these bands like the ocean breathing. A sudden shower, then calm, gusts of wind bending trees, then stillness, like tides in the air. These spiral bands can sometimes stretch far inland, bringing gentle, soaking rains to places untouched by the storm's core. They feed rivers and nourish the earth, even as they are born from a stormy sky. And sometimes, within these bands, small surprises form, tiny rotations called mesovortices, little swirls within the swirl. They live and vanish quickly, like flickers of thought in a dreaming mind. All around the hurricane, these rain bands move, not in a rush, but in a patient spiral, turning, like the slow gears of a music box, releasing rhythm instead of sound. Tonight, we follow one such band, a long, elegant ribbon of rain arcing over the open sea. It stretches like a path into the clouds, guiding us gently through curtains of mist and echoing thunder. But even the thunder here is soft, a distant drum roll across the sky, and the rain, it falls like whispers, like silver threads from the clouds above. So, let the spiral lead you now. Let your thoughts follow its curves, out and around, further and further, until they dissolve into the hush of sea and sky. Rest in the rhythm, sleep in the spiral. There's nothing to hold, just the softness of drifting rain and the warmth of your breath. Tonight, we begin beneath the surface, below the clouds, below the wind, where the sun's warmth has soaked deep into the sea. It is here, in the quiet embrace of the tropical ocean, that hurricanes are born and fed, not with violence, but with warmth. Let's sink slowly now, not far, just to where sunlight still touches water. The top layer of the ocean is like a blanket, gathering heat during long golden days, especially in late summer, when the sea feels heavy with stored energy. This warmth is the storm's secret. When the sea surface reaches around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, or warmer, something begins to stir. The air just above it begins to rise. Moisture clings to it, lifting softly into the cooler sky. As the warm, moist air ascends, it cools. And as it cools, the water vapor condenses into clouds. But there's a hidden gift in this process. Latent heat, a gentle release of energy, like a sigh escaping from the clouds. This heat release makes the surrounding air even warmer, so it continues to rise, pulling in more air from below, which brings more moisture, more condensation, more heat, and the cycle continues. The warm ocean below is not just a surface, it's a reservoir, a sleeping giant cradling the fuel that hurricanes need to grow. This is why these storms only form over tropical seas, and why they fade when they drift over land or cooler waters. Once the warmth is gone, the engine loses power, the spiral slows, the storm becomes a memory. But while it spins above the sea, the hurricane draws strength with every passing moment, feeding on the invisible flame of the ocean's breath. Even the shape of the storm is influenced by this heat. The rising columns of cloud, the tall thunderheads of the eye wall, the long, spiraling bands of rain. They are all built from the ocean's warmth, lifted into sky and sculpted by wind. And yet, this warmth is ancient. It arrives from sunlight that touched the sea days ago, even weeks ago, stored in waves and currents, carried across oceans by gyres and trade winds, waiting patiently for the right moment to rise. Tonight, let's imagine that heat, not as fire, but as softness. A deep, quiet glow moving upward from the sea, curling into the clouds like a lullaby. You are floating now, just above the surface, feeling that warmth on your skin. The breeze is slow, the air is full of promise, and somewhere, far away, a storm is forming, not in anger, but in balance. This is the rhythm of the earth, heat rising, clouds growing, energy flowing. So breathe with it now. Warm, slow, safe. You are part of the pattern, held by the sea, cradled by the air. Let the ocean rock you gently into sleep. Welcome back, dear listener. Tonight, we arrive at a quiet moment of transformation, not marked by fireworks or sudden change, but by a gentle crossing of an invisible line. Out over the warm, open ocean, a storm has been growing. You've met it before, a gathering of clouds, a slow, tightening spiral of wind, a rhythm formed from heat and motion. For a long while, it has no name. It begins as a tropical disturbance, a loose collection of showers drifting across the sea. Then it becomes a tropical depression, its winds circling with soft intent, never hurried, never harsh. As the hours pass, the storm breathes in warmth from below. Its center becomes clearer, its winds grow steadier, reaching 39 miles per hour. At this moment, it is called a tropical storm, and it is given a name. Naming is not a declaration of fear. It is an act of clarity, a way for humans to speak gently about something vast, to track it, understand it, and communicate its presence with care. The storm continues on its path, guided by invisible currents high above, ridges of pressure, slow-moving winds in the upper atmosphere. And then, one quiet hour, something changes. The winds reach 74 miles per hour. This number is not magical, but it is meaningful. It marks the moment when the storm structure is complete, when the circulation is strong enough, the eye wall tall enough, the energy sustained enough to be called a hurricane. There is no sudden roar, no dramatic shift in the sky. The clouds don't know they've crossed a threshold. The ocean does not pause. Only the instruments notice an anemometer spinning faster, a pressure reading dipping just a little lower, a quiet note in a logbook. And with that, the storm becomes something more defined, a fully formed spiral, a system now strong enough to stand on its own. Hurricanes are not born in violence. They grow patiently, as if following instructions written long ago in the language of physics. Warm air rises, pressure falls, winds curve inward, the earth turns beneath it all, and the storm, now named, now recognized, continues on its way, neither good nor bad, only complete. Tonight, we don't follow where it's going. We don't ask what it might do. We simply witness the moment it becomes what it already was becoming. A reminder that change does not always feel dramatic. Sometimes it arrives quietly, measured in steady winds and gentle thresholds. So as you rest, think of that moment of becoming, not rushed, not loud, just natural. Let your own thoughts slow. Let the winds. Inside, you settle into a steady rhythm. You are allowed to drift, just as the storm does, carried forward by calm, unseen currents. Sleep now. The transformation is complete. Tonight, we step onto a ladder, not to climb quickly, but to move slowly, one rung at a time. This ladder is called the Saffir-Simpson scale, a simple, quiet way to describe hurricane strength. It doesn't measure fear. It doesn't predict outcomes. It only listens to the wind. 5 categories, each one defined by sustained wind speed. Nothing more. Let's begin at the first step. Category 1. Winds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. Here, the storm is strong, but still finding its balance. Palm fronds sway. Loose branches dance. The hurricane breathes steadily, its spiral firm but not yet fierce. The storm moves with confidence, like a tide learning its shape. Next comes Category 2, winds from 96 to 110 miles per hour. The structure tightens, the eye wall grows taller, the storm's voice deepens, but its rhythm remains smooth, controlled. Then we reach Category 3, the beginning of what scientists call major hurricanes. Winds now exceed 111 miles per hour. The spiral sharpens. Energy flows more efficiently from ocean to sky. At this level, the storm is mature, balanced, fully aware of its form. Category 4 follows. Winds between 130 and 156 miles per hour. The eye wall becomes a towering ring of cloud, reaching high into the atmosphere. The storm's core is tightly wound, like a dancer spinning with practiced precision. And finally, Category 5. Winds over 157 miles per hour. This is the peak of the scale. The storm structure is near perfect, a powerful exchange of heat and motion, sustained by warm seas and calm upper winds. Yet even here, the hurricane is still governed by the same gentle rules. Air rises, moisture condenses, heat is released, wind curves. The scale does not describe rain. It does not measure size. It does not speak of impact, only of wind, a single, steady metric. And like all ladders, this one can be climbed both ways. Storms strengthen, and they weaken. They rise, and they fade. Nothing stays at the top forever. Tonight, you don't need to remember the numbers. You don't need to climb at all. Just imagine the ladder resting quietly against the sky, a simple tool used to understand something vast. Let your thoughts step down gently now, from 5 to 4 to 3, until they dissolve into calm. The winds are far away, the scale is quiet, and you are free to rest. Sleep softly, the storm has been measured, and the night remains gentle. Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we open the soft pages of the Earth's weathered memory. We revisit a few of the great storms that once moved across the sea, not to stir worry, but to honor the immense breath of nature, and to feel, from a safe and dreamy distance, the slow sighs of hurricanes past. These are not stories of fear. They are slow, powerful echoes, moments when the atmosphere gathered itself in full strength, and then, like all things, faded back into stillness. Let's begin with Hurricane Patricia in the Eastern Pacific, back in 2015. For a brief moment, she held the title of the strongest hurricane ever recorded in the Western Hemisphere. Her winds, 215 miles per hour, spun like a whispered force of nature. But Patricia was small, tightly wound, a compact spiral that grew quickly, peaked suddenly, then unraveled just as fast upon landfall. She came and went, like a flash of lightning on the horizon, bright, then gone. A reminder of how swiftly a storm's energy can gather, and how swiftly it can fade. Now drift across the Atlantic to a storm that spun with lingering intensity, Hurricane Dorian in 2019. He hovered over the Bahamas, barely moving. His winds are sustained 185 miles per hour at landfall. His structure so defined, so stubborn, that the storm's center seemed carved from stillness. Dorian was a slow-motion storm, a moment where time itself seemed to stretch, as the spiral paused, turned, and then, eventually, moved on. And then there's Katrina, the name etched into the memory of storms. In 2005, Katrina rose in the Gulf of Mexico, drawing strength from some of the warmest waters on Earth. She reached Category 5 before arriving on shore, her eye wall a towering ring of power. Though she weakened before landfall, her scale and surge brought sweeping change. But tonight, we do not linger on destruction. We do not follow headlines. We simply witness how these hurricanes formed, peaked, and passed. Each one began the same way, with warm ocean water, with gentle winds aloft, with a quiet disturbance that found rhythm. They did not choose their path. They did not rush. They moved with the laws of heat, pressure, and motion, the same gentle dance we followed in every chapter. And when their energy had been spent, they unraveled, clouds thinning, winds softening, returning their breath to the sky. Even the strongest storm cannot spin forever. Tonight, we let these great hurricanes rest. We fold their stories like weathered maps, edges worn, lines faded. They were part of Earth's great exhale, and now they sleep. So too can you. Breathe softly now. There is no need to hold the weight of history. Just feel the air around you, still and calm, and know that all storms pass and all winds quiet. Sleep deeply, cradled in memory, safe in the present. Tonight, we follow a story told in circles, a tale of becoming and dissolving, the quiet rhythm of the hurricane's life. It begins in warmth, a patch of sea, sun-soaked and silent. A breeze stirs. Air begins to rise, carrying moisture into the sky. The clouds begin to gather, slowly, shyly at first. This is the tropical disturbance stage, a cluster of showers without shape, drifting across the sea. If the waters are warm enough and the winds above are calm, the disturbance tightens, organizes, becomes a tropical depression. Winds now spiral inward, clouds build upward, the pressure drops, and with a bit more strength, it earns a name, now a tropical storm. This is the moment of identity. The storm is no longer scattered. It has purpose, direction, rhythm. And then, one quiet hour, the winds surpass 74 miles per hour, and the storm becomes a hurricane. This is its prime. Its breath deepens, its spiral widens, the eye clears. It is now a complete system, balanced, breathing, and alive. The storm may strengthen further, climbing the scale, finding symmetry in its motion. The clouds rise higher. The ocean feeds it more warmth. It may become a major hurricane, Category 3 or beyond, reaching its peak. But no peak lasts forever. Soon, the storm begins to encounter resistance. Cooler waters, dry air, friction from land. The ocean's warmth no longer fuels it as before. The storm begins to weaken. Its eye wall wobbles. The core tilts. Winds slow. Rain bands unravel. This is decay, not destruction, but a soft undoing. The spiral loosens. The storm begins to exhale. Sometimes the remnants drift inland, bringing gentle rain to distant valleys. Other times they swirl away into open sea, becoming only clouds once more. And sometimes what remains merges into a new system, a memory reborn. But every hurricane, no matter how fierce, eventually finds its end. It is a full life cycle, measured not in days or damage, but in motion, a rise, a turning, and a gentle return to stillness. Tonight, we follow that journey without rush. We trace it with quiet breath and restful thoughts, from a seed in the sea to a swirling spiral in the sky and back again. Nature never hurries. Even storms follow their tempo. So, as the hurricane completes its final turn, let your own thoughts soften, let the wind slow, and feel the peace of endings. You've watched the life of a storm. Now, let yourself rest, calm, steady, and full of quiet skies. Welcome back, friend. Tonight, we trace the quiet motion of the sea, not the crashing of waves or the roar of surf, but the soft, steady rise of ocean water beneath a hurricane's breath. This is storm surge, a lifting of the sea, slow but powerful, as the wind and pressure of a hurricane press gently on the ocean's surface, guiding it toward the shore. It begins far from land. The hurricane spins over the water, its winds wrapping in wide, graceful arcs. As the air rushes toward the center, it pushes the sea along with it, not in a splash, but in a swelling. The ocean, patient and deep, begins to rise. It listens to the storm's spiral, feeling its pressure drop like a sigh over water. You see, hurricanes have low pressure at their core, a soft vacuum, drawing the sea upward, and the strong winds around them push that elevated water ahead, toward coasts, toward inlets, toward quiet bays. As the hurricane approaches land, the sea comes with it, not as a wave, but as a dome, a wide, shallow hill of salt water gently sweeping inland. Storm surge is not loud by nature. It does not need to be. It is the ocean breathing in, and not quite breathing out. When it arrives on shore, it may blend with the natural tide, rising higher if it comes during high tide, or slipping in silently during the night when the moon pulls softly from above. This is not a wall of water, but a deepening, a creeping flood that fills streets, fields and marshes, not with sudden force, but with patient insistence. And still, the sea continues rising, lifted by wind, drawn by pressure, guided by coastline shape and slope. In narrow bays and shallow coasts, the water climbs faster, not out of anger, but geometry. There is beauty in the balance. A hurricane's wind sculpts the sea, and the sea responds. After the storm passes, the ocean slowly returns to its bed. The surge retreats, leaving salt water behind, in puddles, ponds, and tidal traces. And then, the land dries. The tides resume. The balance is restored. Tonight, you don't need to worry about rising water. You are dry, warm, and safe. But perhaps, as you lie still, you can feel the subtle lift, the sensation of being gently carried, like a shell on the tide, like a boat in calm harbour, like a thought rising slowly to the surface of a dream. Let yourself rise with the hush of the ocean's breath, and as the tide recedes, drift into rest. Softly now, let the sea sleep, and you with it. Tonight, we take flight, not high into the stars, but into the heart of a hurricane, with those who quietly fly where few dare to go. They're called hurricane hunters, scientists and pilots who board special aircraft to glide through spiraling winds, gathering gentle truths from within the storm. It may sound daring to fly into a hurricane, but the journey is thoughtful, careful, and deeply purposeful. The aircraft they use are strong, outfitted with instruments that hum softly, measuring wind, temperature, humidity, and pressure as they pass through the different layers of the storm. The most common plane is the WC-130, a sturdy aircraft with 4 propellers, each spinning like a lullaby against the wind. The flight begins from calm skies, climbing through sunlight, then clouds, then the outer bands of the hurricane. Turbulence comes in soft waves. The pilots are steady, the cabin quiet. Crew members focus gently on their work, releasing devices called dropsons, little cylinders that fall slowly to the ocean below, sending back streams of data as they descend through wind and rain. These dropsons tell the story of the storm's breath. They measure its heartbeat, its warmth, its rhythm. Each pass through the eye wall is a crossing, from strong winds into the eye, where peace waits in the center, and then back again. They make several passes, in and out, gathering everything they can, so that others, those on land, watching from afar, can prepare, understand, and stay safe. But tonight, we are only riding along, not as scientists, but as quiet observers. We feel the slow roll of the aircraft, the hum of the engines, the closeness of cloud outside the window, a world of white and grey, spinning like a watercolour in motion. And then, the eye. It opens like a surprise. The winds fall away, the clouds part, the sun may shine, and for a few moments, the aircraft floats in a kind of sky lake, stillness wrapped in motion. Data is collected, readings are made. The crew smiles softly, another pass complete, and back they go, into the storm's arms once more. These flights don't chase drama, they pursue truth. They listen to the atmosphere, so others don't have to guess. It's a quiet act of science, a dance with nature, told in measurements and maps. Tonight, as the hurricane hunters make their final pass, let their steadiness guide you. Let the wings carry you. Let the rhythm of the spiral rock you into sleep. No fear, no hurry, only motion and meaning. Float now. You are safe. The data is gathered. The storm has been touched, and sleep awaits. Welcome back, gentle listener. Tonight, we drift into the swirl, into the graceful rotation of a hurricane, and the quiet force that makes it turn. Have you ever wondered, why do hurricanes spin? Why do they twirl like dancers across the sea, each one coiling around a central eye, moving in elegant spirals as if choreographed by the sky? The answer lies in something soft and unseen, a dreamy force called the Coriolis effect. It begins with the Earth itself. Our planet spins slowly, steadily, once every 24 hours. You may not feel it as you lie still beneath the stars, but we are all turning, always turning, carried quietly by the great curve of the Earth. This turning creates the Coriolis effect, a gentle nudge that causes moving air to bend, not in a straight line, but in a curve. In the northern hemisphere, that curve bends to the right. In the southern hemisphere, it bends to the left. And so, as warm air rises in the center of a developing storm, cooler air rushes in to replace it. But it doesn't come straight in. It curves, it swirls, it begins to rotate. This rotation is the storm's signature, its spiral motion, its gentle spin, born not from chaos, but from the Earth's patient turning. Without the Coriolis effect, there would be no hurricane as we know it. Clouds would gather, air would rise, but the elegant swirl, the spiral eye, would never form, and so the storm becomes a dancer, spinning gracefully around its center, following the invisible lead of a planet in motion. The Coriolis effect is strongest near the poles, weaker at the equator. That's why hurricanes never form right at the Earth's waistline. There's not enough of a twist to start the spin. But move just a little north or south, and the spiral begins. We can see it in other storms too, in the turning of mid-latitude cyclones, in the swirling path of ocean currents, even in the gentle curves of trade winds that cross the sea. It's not a force you can touch. It's not something you'll feel in your hair, but it's always there, turning quietly beneath your feet, shaping the weather with a painter's grace. So tonight, let your thoughts follow the spin. Feel yourself spiraling slowly, not rushing, but gently curving through the calm. You are a dancer too, held by gravity, spun by the Earth, moving through time and sleep. And just like a hurricane, your motion is natural, balanced, and beautiful. Breathe in, turn gently, and breathe out. Let the Coriolis effect rock you softly, and sleep within the swirl. Tonight, we follow a storm across the map. Not one storm, but many names, each one a whisper in a different language, a lullaby spoken in the dialect of oceans. You may have heard the words before: hurricane, typhoon, cyclone. They sound different, but they describe the same thing. They are all tropical cyclones, spinning systems of clouds, wind and rain born over warm ocean waters, fed by heat and shaped by the planet's turning. So why the different names? It all depends on where the storm spins. In the Atlantic Ocean and the northeastern Pacific, we call them hurricanes. It's the word most familiar in the Western world, a name rooted in ancient languages, whispers of Huracan, the storm god of Caribbean myth. But travel west, across the Pacific, and you'll find another name. In the northwestern Pacific, the same kind of storm is called a typhoon. The winds are the same, the spiral just as perfect, but the name has drifted, like waves between shores. Typhoon comes from ancient Greek and Chinese roots, mingled together like two cultures meeting in the wind. Now drift south to the Indian Ocean and the South Pacific. Here, these swirling storms are simply called cyclones, a word drawn from kyklon, meaning moving, in a circle, a fitting name for a storm that turns endlessly, a spiral written in cloud and sea. So we have hurricanes in the Atlantic and Northeast Pacific, typhoons in the Northwest Pacific, cyclones in the Indian and South Pacific Oceans. 3 names, 1 kind of storm. Each one begins the same way, over warm waters, where the air rises and the clouds curl, where the Coriolis effect gives them their spin. Each one forms an eye wall, spiral rain bands. Each one breathes the same breath of the sea. But just as people speak different languages, so too do we name our storms differently, not to confuse, but to localize, to recognize them in the voice of home. Tonight, we float above the map, watching the oceans ripple beneath us. We see the storms turning, one in the Atlantic, one in the Bay of Bengal, one in the Western Pacific, each one with its own name, but each one part of the same global rhythm. A hurricane, a typhoon, a cyclone. Not 3 storms, but 3 verses of the same song. Let that comfort you. Let the naming of storms remind you that language is soft and that nature speaks in many dialects. No matter the name, the wind still spins, the clouds still gather, and the world still turns. So, as you drift into sleep, let your thoughts circle gently. Let names dissolve, and let meaning remain. The storm is far away, its spiral is slow, and your night is quiet. Sleep, dear one. The names are only echoes. The peace is real. Tonight, we curl inward, to the quiet, hidden heart of the hurricane. Not the roaring winds or swirling clouds, but the warmth at its center, the secret that gives the storm its breath. This is the warm core, a quiet mystery tucked inside the spiral. Unlike many other weather systems, cold fronts, low-pressure troughs, polar storms, a hurricane is unique. It is powered from within. It carries heat at its very center, rising through the layers like a candle glowing from deep inside. Imagine slicing into a storm, peeling it open like a layered cake. What you'd find isn't cold in the middle, but warmth. This inner warmth is not just a pleasant surprise. It is essential. It's what separates hurricanes from all other cyclones. It's what keeps the winds spinning, the clouds rising, the engine turning. It all begins with the sea. The surface of the ocean, heated by sunlight, releases moisture into the air. This moist air rises, cooling as it goes, condensing into clouds. When condensation occurs, it releases hidden heat, a soft, invisible energy known as latent heat. This release fuels the storm's core, raising the temperature at its center, even while the clouds above swirl with ice and wind. The warm core causes air to rise even faster, lowering the pressure at the surface, which draws in more air, which rises again, and the cycle continues. A quiet, rising spiral, fed not by chaos, but by heat. The temperature difference between the center and the surrounding air creates a kind of vacuum effect, drawing air inward and upward, accelerating the wind, sharpening the storm's symmetry. In powerful hurricanes, this warm core can extend upward for miles, from the surface of the sea to the upper atmosphere. A slender chimney of heat, sustained by the breath of the ocean. And though satellites and instruments can sense it now, it still holds a kind of mystery, a softness, an elegance not easily captured. Even in its most violent form, the hurricane holds warmth at its heart, as if reminding us that not all power is cold or sharp. Some of it is quiet and radiant. When the storm moves over land, the warmth begins to fade. The ocean's gift is no longer beneath it. Cooler, drier air creeps in, and the spiral starts to fall apart. But tonight, we're not rushing to endings. We're resting in the center, in the warmth. Let this be your inner spiral too, a warmth you carry in your own stillness, even when the world turns Around you, breathe gently. Feel the heat in your chest, soft and steady. You too have a warm core, not for storms, but for peace. Sleep within it now. The winds may spin outside, but you are warm and still. Tonight, we rise above it all, higher than any cloud, higher than the storm's tallest thunderhead, into the silent stillness of space. Up here, the earth turns in hushed beauty, blue oceans, green coasts, white spirals, and among them, a hurricane slowly spins. Seen from this height, the storm becomes art, a vast, living pinwheel stretched across the sea, each spiral arm a ribbon of cloud, curving gently toward the center. Satellites watch from above, not with eyes, but with senses and a light, feeling the warmth, the moisture, the shape of the storm. Some satellites drift in geostationary orbit, always fixed above one part of the Earth, watching hurricanes from 22,000 miles away. They see everything, sunrise to sunset, every cloud, every breath. Others fly, lower in polar orbits, circling the planet many times a day. They take sharp, focused images, slices of the storm captured like pages in a moving story. Together, they help us see the full picture, a view no human eye could hold alone. Infrared sensors detect the temperature of cloud tops, showing us which towers rise highest, where the storm is strongest. Microwave images peer through the rain, mapping the hidden structure of bands and eye walls. And radar from space bounces gently off the storm, returning whispers of data, raindrop sizes, wind patterns, the softness of motion within the spin. To the satellites, hurricanes are not violent. They are graceful. Their paths are curves. Their pulses slow. We learn from this distance how storms grow, how they shift, how they change with time. From above, there is no noise, no roar of wind, no crash of rain, only the soundless beauty of motion. As we drift in orbit, let yourself feel small in the best way, like a quiet traveler wrapped in the arms of a gentle planet. You are watching something ancient, a spiral that has turned since long before satellites, before maps, before names. And still, it turns. Let your thoughts do the same. Spiral slowly around your center, drawn inward by stillness, drawn outward by wonder. Tonight, you are floating above the world. The storm spins far below, peaceful in its symmetry, and you, held in weightless rest, sleep like a satellite, steady, drifting, watching, dreaming. Welcome back, dear listener. Tonight, we turn our gaze to the sky, not to thunder or lightning, but to something slower, softer, the quiet fall of rain. Raindrops are gentle things. They begin as vapor, floating weightlessly in the clouds, until the time comes to fall. And fall they do, not all at once, but drop by drop, minute by minute, hour after hour, until the world below begins to change. This is the quiet power of hurricane rainfall. It doesn't rush in. It settles, it stays. It lingers long after the winds have passed. Some hurricanes are remembered not for their speed, nor for their wind, but for the water they bring. Water that falls from the sky in such abundance that it reshapes the land. Let's drift now into one such memory. In 2017, a storm named Harvey made landfall in Texas. His winds were strong, but it was the rain that lingered. For days, he hovered near the coast, drawing moisture from the warm Gulf waters and releasing it steadily, endlessly onto the land. More than 60 inches of rain fell in some places. That's 5 feet, enough to cover cars, to rise above windowsills, to turn highways into rivers. But Harvey's rain didn't crash. It didn't pour in sheets or slam the earth. It drifted down in layers, soft, slow, relentless. In the gentle patter of rain, there is a kind of quiet awe. It taps on rooftops, slides down leaves, pools at curbs. At first, it feels manageable. A puddle, a stream, then a pond where one didn't exist, then a river where roads once ran. Hurricanes can carry so much moisture because of their warm cores, like we explored together in Chapter 15. That warmth pulls water into the air, and as the storm spins, it flings that water outward in curved bands of rainfall. Where those bands settle, where they stall, the rain falls most. And so, rainfall becomes a map of motion, telling the story of where the storm wandered and where it paused. Meteorologists measure this rainfall carefully, with gauges and radar and satellite sensors. Each inch recorded, each hour noted, and sometimes a record is broken. A single storm delivers more rain than any place has seen before. But records are not just numbers. They are memories etched in soil and stone. The high watermark on a tree, the quiet line on a wall, the reflection of rooftops in a place where streets once lay bare. And even as the floodwaters rise, there is stillness. Raindrops continue to fall, small and soft, even as they build a sea. Tonight, you are not caught in rain. You are sheltered, dry, watching from afar. Let the idea of the rainfall become something poetic, a symbol of how small things, repeated gently, can carry great power. One drop at a time, one moment at a time, changes unfold. Let the patter of imaginary rain soothe your thoughts. Let the soft rhythm calm your breathing. And as the storm story is written in inches, let your dreams flow freely until they fill the quiet places of your rest. Tonight, we sit beside the ones who listen to clouds, to currents, to the whispers of wind and pressure. These are the hurricane forecasters, not magicians, but gentle interpreters of the sky. Their work begins with watching. Satellites above, buoys drifting at sea, radar humming across the horizon, all sending pieces of the atmosphere's puzzle. From these, forecasters create something beautiful, a model, not a sculpture or a painting, but a set of equations, a mathematical portrait of what might come. Imagine dozens of these models, each one a different version of the future. They are called forecast models, and each one starts with current conditions: the temperature of the sea, the moisture in the air, the wind at every layer of the sky. Then, using physics and computation, the models project where the storm might go, how it might grow, and where it might fade. Forecasters do not blindly trust these models. They study them, compare them, blend them. Like artists mixing paint, they look for the pattern, the shape that repeats across different runs. A cluster of models pointing to the same coast. That means more confidence. A scattering of paths. That means uncertainty. But uncertainty is not failure. It is honesty. A reminder that nature is fluid and the future is always a soft outline. Forecasters update the track every 6 hours, watching the center of the storm, adjusting the cone of possibility. You've seen that cone, perhaps, widening with time. Not because the storm grows wilder, but because the future grows harder to trace the farther we look. And still, they try, with care, with humility, with science shaped by decades of study. They do not shout. They do not panic. They observe. They explain. They offer time, a gift of foresight wrapped in calm. In the forecast office, there's a quiet hum, computers softly blinking, voices low, eyes on screens, but minds on the sky. And when the next advisory is written, it carries more than just wind speed and coordinates. It carries a promise. that someone is watching, that someone is listening to the weather's unfolding song. Tonight, you don't need to predict anything. You don't need to look ahead. Just imagine those calm forecasters keeping vigil through the night while you drift into sleep. The models are running, the data is flowing, and all you need to do is rest. Welcome back, my friend. Tonight, we enter a season, not of dates on a calendar, but of warmth, of soft winds, of skies that begin to stir. This is hurricane season, a time when the ocean breathes a little deeper and the air above listens with quiet curiosity. It begins in late spring, but truly awakens in summer. As the days grow longer, the sun paints the sea with light, layer after layer, warming the surface of the tropical oceans until the water becomes a quiet reservoir of heat. This warmth is the key. It rises into the air, not in a rush, but with patience, a slow, invisible lifting that feeds the sky. In June, the season begins gently. Only a few storms form. The ocean is still gathering its energy, and the winds in the upper atmosphere are often too strong, shearing and scattering young systems before they can spin. But by August, something changes. The Atlantic warms like a sigh. The atmosphere relaxes, wind shear softens, and the stage is set. This is when the season reaches its rhythm, not a frantic pace, but a natural one, guided by ancient patterns in the sea and sky. September is the peak. Warm water lies like silk across the equator. Tropical waves drift from Africa, each one a ripple, a possibility. Some dissolve, some persist, some become spirals. And as they cross the Atlantic, they may grow. Not all become hurricanes. Many remain simple storms, brief, beautiful expressions of nature's breath. But some gather strength. They find warmth below, calm winds above, and begin to turn. Each one is watched carefully. Each one is named when it finds its form. And the season continues. Even into October, the warm waters linger. The storms bend further west, often toward the Gulf of Mexico, where the sea holds summer in its depths. Eventually, the season quiets. By November, the upper winds grow stronger again. Cool air returns to the tropics. And the Great Basin of the Atlantic begins to sleep. The official season runs from June 1st to November 30th. But nature does not keep to schedules. Some storms form early, some arrive late, some surprise us altogether. But the rhythm remains. Year after year, the pattern repeats. A slow inhale from the ocean and a swirling exhale into the sky. Hurricane season is not a time of fear. It is a time of watching, of learning, of marveling at how the earth balances its heat, circulates its air, and shares its motion with the world. Tonight, we are not in the season. We are outside of it, floating above the calendar, watching from afar. Let your thoughts drift with the season's breath, warming, rising, spinning, fading. You are not in the storm. You are in the cycle, a soft loop of summer and sky. Let that rhythm soothe you. Let the season pass through your dreams, like a warm breeze through an open window. Sleep now. The skies have only just begun to stir. Before the hurricane, before the spiral, before the name, there is only a ripple, a small bend in the air, born from heat and wind and distance. This is a tropical wave, the very first breath of what might become a storm. Tonight, we follow it to its beginning, far to the east, along the golden edge of West Africa. Here, in the hot summer months, warm air rises from the Sahara Desert and drifts westward, meeting the cooler, moister air along the Atlantic coast. That meeting, that mingling of dry and damp, hot and cool, creates a gentle kink in the atmosphere. Not a twist, not a spin, just a wave. A long, slow undulation that stretches from north to south like a soft, invisible ribbon. Carried by the trade winds, this wave begins its journey westward, floating across the warm Atlantic, like a drifting note on a sleeping ocean. At first, it's quiet. Just clouds, a few showers, a whisper of circulation. But every hurricane you've ever heard of, every swirling storm and spinning spiral, began this way. As the tropical wave drifts across the ocean, it may begin to gather. The sea beneath. It is warm. The air above it is moist. The wind shear is light, and slowly a few thunderstorms form, then more. They cluster and pulse, rising and falling like breath. Some waves fade into the blue, never finding the ingredients they need, but some persist, organizing, tightening, beginning to turn. Meteorologists watch these waves closely. They are numbered, tracked, mapped like whispers on the wind. We call them African easterly waves, and they are the quiet beginning of many great storms. But tonight, we don't need to follow them into strength. We don't need to rush into spirals. We simply stay with the ripple, the moment of potential, the gentle crease in the sky that hints at motion to come. This is where it all begins, not with thunder, not with wind, but with a soft bend in the atmosphere, cradled by the sea, pushed westward by the breath of Earth itself. Let that be your story tonight, a beginning with no rush, a drifting wave, not yet a storm, but full of quiet promise. You are not required to form. You don't need to build. You can float. Like the tropical wave, you are allowed to wander, to move slowly, to rise when ready. Sleep now, and let the ocean carry you. Welcome back, gentle listener. Tonight, we rise high above the clouds, where air moves quickly, not in spirals, but in long, flowing streams. This is the realm of wind shear, an invisible artist that shapes, sculpts, and sometimes quiets the breath of hurricanes. Wind shear may not be something you see, but you can feel its touch in every storm's structure. It is the change in wind speed or direction as you rise higher into the sky. Near the surface, winds might move slowly from the east, but higher up, they may rush from the west. That difference, that tilt, is wind shear. And in the world of hurricanes, wind shear is both a guide and a gatekeeper. When wind shear is gentle, it allows the storm to rise straight and tall, like a pillar of cloud, balanced and centered, breathing easily from ocean to sky. But when wind shear is strong, it pushes the top of the storm away from the bottom. The clouds tilt, the center wobbles, the spiral begins to lose its shape. It's like watching a dancer spin in place, until someone nudges her shoulder, and she stumbles just enough to lose her rhythm. Strong wind shear can prevent a storm from forming at all. It tears at the structure before it can take shape. A quiet disruption, unseen but powerful. And yet, sometimes wind shear helps. If it arrives just right, not too strong, not too chaotic, it can help vent the storm, like a chimney guiding warm air away, allowing more energy to rise from below. It's all about balance. Forecasters watch wind shear carefully. They track it in models, measure it with weather balloons and satellites, and use it to predict whether a storm will grow or fade. You can't touch wind shear. You can't see it with your eyes, but you can sense its work in the way clouds curve, in the way rain bands stretch, in the way a storm leans like a tree in the wind. Tonight, imagine wind shear as a sculptor's hand, sometimes smoothing, sometimes erasing, always working gently across the sky. Even the fiercest hurricanes are at the mercy of these high-altitude winds. So let the thought of it calm you. this invisible shaping, this unseen balance. Even the strongest storm must listen to the sky above it. And you too can listen. Feel the air around you. Notice how it changes as you breathe. Inhale, exhale, like wind moving from layer to layer. Let your thoughts drift upward, like a cloud exploring the edges of the storm, and let them be sculpted by peace. The wind shear is gentle tonight, and you are free to rest. Tonight, we turn to names, simple, soothing names that follow storms across the sea. Not to frighten, but to remember, to organize, to gently speak of something large. Before 1950, storms had no personal names. They were identified by longitude and latitude, by coordinates and compass directions. Useful, but not easy to hold in memory. Then came an idea: to name storms the way we name stories, to give them soft human words, so that people could remember and talk about them with care. At first, only women's names were used. Later, men's names were added, creating an alternating rhythm, a balanced list that stretches through the alphabet, from Anna to Zeta, from Brett to Wanda. Each year has its own list, prepared ahead of time by the World Meteorological Organization. Names are reused every 6 years, unless a storm is especially strong or memorable. Then, the name is retired, like a jersey lifted into the rafters of weather history. Katrina, Maria, Dorian. Their names are now preserved, never to be given again. But most names are quiet, short, simple, easy to say. Claudette, Nestor, Ophelia, Fiona. They sound like characters in a bedtime story, not threats, but whispers. The names are chosen with care, drawn from different cultures and languages, reflecting the diversity of those who live along the sea. In the Western Pacific, storms may be called Saola, Muifa, Chaba, names with gentle syllables, each one a soft marker of place. Naming helps us follow storms more clearly. It allows forecasters to speak simply. Hurricane Elsa is strengthening. Tropical Storm Fred is moving north. It reduces confusion. It brings clarity. And sometimes a bit of poetry, because to name something is to notice it, to acknowledge its shape, its movement, its presence. And in the quiet world of meteorology, that is an act of care. So tonight, imagine a list, a calm alphabet, waiting on the page. Each name is a seed, not yet a storm, just a possibility. And maybe most of those seeds never grow. Maybe Gaston stays out at sea. Maybe Imani never forms at all. And that's okay. Let the names pass like clouds through your mind. A roll call of giants spoken softly without fear. You don't need to remember them, just feel the rhythm. Anna, Brett, Cindy, Don, Elsa. Like lullabies, these names drift by, and you drift with them. Sleep now. The alphabet is complete, and your dreams are full of quiet skies. Tonight, dear listener, we rise once again into the upper quiet, to a place where no winds blow, where the air is still, and the view stretches across oceans. We are with the satellites now, silent watchers, drifting far above, tracing the breath of hurricanes from the stars. They do not blink. They do not sleep. They orbit patiently, their eyes fixed on the spiral below. From this gentle distance, storms looks like slow turning sculptures. White arms wrapped around a darkened center, clouds folding and unfolding like waves of silk. But satellites see more than beauty. They feel the pulse of the storm. Some watch in infrared light, measuring heat instead of color. They sense the cold of the highest clouds, the warmth of the sea below, and the warm core nestled deep within the storm's center. Others listen in microwave frequencies, able to peer through thick clouds and detect rain deep within the storm. mapping where the water is falling, how heavy, how wide, how the spiral arms stretch and move. Still others carry scatterometers, which bounce tiny pulses of energy off the sea and measure the wind by the roughness of the water's surface. From these signals, forecasters on the ground can see the storm's spin, its speed, its symmetry, its still evolving form. Together, this gentle constellation of machines gathers whispers of data, pressure, temperature, rainfall, wind, layer by layer, hour by hour. There are two kinds of satellite eyes. Geostationary satellites hover over the same spot, high above the Earth, capturing pictures every few minutes, perfect for watching clouds bloom and spiral in real time. Polar orbiting satellites pass from pole to pole, scanning the planet, strip by strip, offering sharp, detailed images from every angle. They work together, painting a full portrait of the storm, its heartbeat, its rhythm, its path, and the technology is ever improving. Some satellites carry sensors so fine they can detect lightning flashes hidden within clouds. Others measure water vapor moving invisibly through the sky. Some can even see the shape of waves beneath the storm's footprint. They are our eyes in the sky, graceful, tireless, never too close, never too far. And what they gather, they send back home, to weather centers, to scientists, to forecasters, drawing their gentle cones of probability. Because of satellites, we know more, we see more, we prepare with greater calm. But tonight, we're not here to forecast, we're here to float. Drift alongside a satellite now. Let yourself glide above the cloud tops, watching the storm turn slowly below. No rush, no sound, only the quiet transmission of knowledge and the hush of the upper atmosphere. The storm breathes and the sky watches, and you, floating between the two, can rest. Tonight, we return to Earth, to the coasts and forests, rivers and dunes, where hurricanes have left behind more than wind and water. They have left change, not sudden or sharp, but lasting, like footprints in soft sand, like rivers that bend after rain. Some hurricanes carve the land as they pass, sculpting it slowly, sometimes beautifully. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina arrived in Louisiana. While much was written about the flooding, another quiet change happened too. Barrier islands shifted, coastal marshes were redrawn. The landscape was altered, not with noise, but with the soft persistence of water. Storm surge flowed in, and did not always flow back out the same way. New inlets formed, cutting through once solid land, connecting bay to sea, salt water to fresh. Inlets like these remain, long after the clouds have gone. They become part of the new geography, woven into maps shaped by memory. On the outer banks of North Carolina, storms like Isabel and Ophelia carved narrow gaps through the barrier islands. Where there was sand, now there is water. And in the forests further inland, storms lay down trees like resting giants. Whole canopies shifted, sunlight finding the forest floor in places that had been shaded for generations. Sometimes, a single hurricane can uproot entire ecosystems, changing which plants grow, which birds nest, which creatures return after the wind. Even beneath the sea, change is felt. Hurricanes stir ocean floors, redistribute coral sand, reshape reefs in slow, swirling hands. Rivers rise, deltas expand, beaches move. The land is not broken, it is revised, smoothed in some places, lifted in others. Each storm leaves behind a signature, not in scars, but in soft edits. These changes remind us that the Earth is never still. It shifts, responds, rebalances, and always it continues. Tonight, imagine walking, a beach where the sand is new, where a channel has formed where none existed before. Let the air be warm, let the waves be low, let the change feel natural, not loss, but movement. You are walking through a place that holds both storm and stillness, past and future. And as you close your eyes, you may feel yourself being reshaped too, not broken, but softened. Let the winds of the day pass. Let the tides smooth the edges. Tonight, dear listener, we drift into memory, not to stir sadness, but to gently honor the silent places left behind by the strongest storms. This is not a chapter of fear. It is a chapter of remembrance, of the soft hush that follows the wind, of the calm that settles after the clouds have passed. Some hurricanes, over the centuries, have touched the world so deeply that their echoes remain not just in numbers, but in stories. Let us visit them quietly. The year was 1900 in the city of Galveston, Texas. The storm came with little warning. There were no satellites, no radar, no modern forecasts. Just the rising tide, the howling wind, and then a silence that followed. Over 8,000 lives were lost, perhaps more. Entire neighborhoods swept away, replaced by quiet beaches, soft dunes. The storm became a turning point in meteorology, in memory, and in the way humans speak of the sea. Further back, in 1780, a storm moved through the Caribbean, the great hurricane of that year. It is believed to be the deadliest Atlantic hurricane ever recorded, an estimated 20,000 lives lost. It touched islands with a breath so strong, yet so long ago, that the details blur like mist. But the loss remains written in history. More recently, we remember Hurricane Mitch in 1998. It moved slowly across Central America, dropping rain for days and days. It wasn't the wind, it was the water. Flooding and landslides reshaped the land. Over 11,000 people lost, with thousands more unaccounted for. The storm didn't shout, it wept. Each of these storms, and others like Bola in 1970, and Nargis in 2008, remind us that the world can shift suddenly. And yet, in the wake of those storms, there was always response. People rebuilt. They planted trees. They learned new ways to listen to the sky. And they remembered. Not all storms that take life do so in thunder. Some arrive quietly, like long rain, like rising tides, like a story you don't realize is ending until the last page turns. And after them, there is silence. Not an empty silence, but a sacred one. A space to reflect, to soften, to understand. Tonight, we remember without reliving. We float above those memories, like mist over still water. Let it be gentle. Let it be peaceful. If a name rises in your mind, a person, a place, a storm you once knew, let it come and let it go. Let it settle like silt beneath calm waves. For all that was lost, something was also given. Wisdom, community, the strength to rebuild. And in the stillness left behind, there is always room for rest. Sleep now. The winds have passed. Only the quiet remains. Tonight, we think not of dollars, but of impact, of how a single storm, moving slowly over land, can redraw the shape of cities, repaint coasts, and gently rewrite the rhythm of a region. This is the quiet cost of hurricanes. Not just in damage, but in memory, in pause, in the long breath of rebuilding. Let us walk slowly through some of these storms, not to stir urgency, but to understand how nature reshapes the human world. We begin with Hurricane Katrina in 2005. She struck the Gulf Coast, flooded New Orleans, and became one of the costliest hurricanes in US history. But her cost was not just in dollars. It was in neighborhoods, in music, in quiet streets where jazz once played. It was in time, in all the hours it took to return, to sweep, to replant. The damage was estimated at $125 billion. But the deeper cost was felt in hearts and histories. Then came Hurricane Harvey. In 2017, he moved slowly over Houston, bringing not winds, but rain. 5 feet of rain in places, turning roads into rivers, highways into hushed lakes. The water moved gently, but persistently, and when it receded, it left behind soaked homes, muddy memories, and a community reshaped. The financial toll, again, around $125 billion, tells only part of the story. Then there was Maria, also in 2017, who passed over Puerto Rico like a long sigh. She darkened the island, power gone, roads blocked, communications still as stone. The cost, billions, but also stories of lanterns returning, neighbors sharing water, children watching stars in unfamiliar silence. And in 2021, Hurricane Ida arrived, another storm with echoes of Katrina, tracing old paths, testing new levees. Each time a hurricane moves ashore, the landscape holds its breath. Buildings may bend, bridges may break, but also trees fall and feed the soil. New sandbars form. Old homes give way to new ones. And cities recover, not in a rush, but in rhythm, step by step, wall by wall, song by song. The costliest hurricanes are not just defined by insurance or by broken things. They are measured in resilience, in how a place chooses to return, in how people look out for one another when the sky clears. So tonight, as you lie safe in your own space, remember this. Storms may take, but people rebuild. And in that rebuilding, there is beauty. Let your own worries fall away tonight. Let your mind rebuild quiet within itself. You are not in a storm. You are in stillness, surrounded by calm. Let the winds stay in the past. Let tomorrow rebuild itself, slowly. And sleep as cities do after rain, rested, ready, and whole. Welcome back, friend. Tonight, we explore something subtle, a shift in the rhythm of storms, a quiet question carried on warmer winds. Is our world changing the way hurricanes breathe? We drift into the science of climate change, not with urgency, but with care, with listening, with stillness. The Earth is warming, a little more each decade. Oceans absorb much of this heat, especially near the surface, where hurricanes are born, and warmth is fuel. As we've learned together, hurricanes gather their strength from warm seawater. The warmer the water, the more energy rises into the storm. More rising air, more condensation, more latent heat released into the sky. This doesn't mean more storms overall, but it may mean that when they form, they can become stronger. Studies suggest a shift, fewer storms perhaps, but more of them reaching Category 3 or higher. Major hurricanes, more intense winds, more tightly wound eyes. But the change isn't just about wind, it's also about rain. Warmer air holds more moisture. So, when storms pass over land, they may release more rainfall, longer, heavier, lingering like a grey curtain over cities and fields. Hurricane Harvey, in 2017, was a storm that slowed, hovered, and poured. 5 feet of rain in places, not because it was the biggest storm, but because it wouldn't let go. Climate change may also be making storms slower, not in their wind speed, but in their forward motion. They crawl, linger, giving their rain and surge more time to reshape the land. And then there's sea level rise. As oceans rise slowly with warming, even modest storm surges reach farther inland. A surge that once kissed the dunes now moves through neighborhoods, not with panic, but with patience. The science is evolving. Not all answers are clear, but the questions are worth asking. Are we seeing stronger storms because of warming seas? Are we measuring better? Are we remembering more clearly? There is no blame in the atmosphere, no judgment in the clouds, just cause and effect, air and water, heat and motion. And with this knowledge, we prepare, we adapt, we listen to the weather's soft clues. The future isn't written in panic, it's written in observation, in preparation, in a quieter relationship with the sky. Tonight, as you breathe beneath your own ceiling, know that science is watching carefully, measuring, modeling, learning. Let your thoughts be like drifting clouds, curious but not hurried. You are part of this world, and you are learning with it. Sleep softly now. The wind is gentle, and the questions can wait for morning. Tonight, we drift westward, across the globe, over warm Pacific waters, to a different corner of the world, where the storms still swirl, but the names are different. They are called typhoons. The word feels familiar, yet carries a different melody, a name used in Asia and the Western Pacific, where tropical cyclones follow ancient trade winds and sweep across islands and coastal cities with the same slow grace. A typhoon is not a different kind of storm. It is a hurricane by another name. Same spiral, same eye, same warm core engine breathing deep from the sea. The difference lies only in location. In the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific, we call them hurricanes. In the Northwestern Pacific, they are typhoons. And in the Indian Ocean and South Pacific, they are cyclones. 3 names, 1 nature. Typhoons form near places like the Philippines, Japan, Taiwan, and China. Their paths are often steered by the Pacific High, a pressure system that moves gently with the seasons. In summer, storms may curve northward. In fall, they may bend west, brushing coasts with their wide, elegant arms. One of the most powerful typhoons ever recorded was Typhoon Tip in 1979. Tip became the largest tropical cyclone in history. Its winds stretched over 1,300 miles wide, a gentle giant spinning slowly, touching nearly a quarter of the Pacific at once. In recent years, storms like Haiyan, Mangkhut, and Rai have reminded us that typhoons can be fierce, but also that communities along the Pacific have learned to read the sky with ancient eyes. There are typhoon warning centers in Guam in Tokyo, where scientists monitor the spiral, trace the curve, and gently predict the path. Just like hurricanes, typhoons are tracked by satellite, measured by aircraft, named with care. But the naming list feels different here. You might hear Nangka, Saola, Napatak, Bofa, names drawn from many languages, each with meaning, each like a soft song carried on sea wind. Typhoons too have rain bands. They too have eyes, and they too leave behind change, on beaches, in rice fields, among forests and mountains, where clouds nest like sleeping birds. So tonight, as you rest far from the Pacific, let your thoughts drift there, not with worry, but with wonder. You are hearing a global lullaby now, spoken in wind, translated by clouds, spun in spirals. No matter the name, hurricane, typhoon, or cyclone, the storm is the same, and the sleep that follows it is deep. Close your eyes, let the names wash over you, soft as sea mist, and float in peace beneath the turning sky. Tonight, we travel south, far below the equator, where stars spin in unfamiliar patterns and water whirls in the opposite direction. Here, in the southern hemisphere, hurricanes take on a different name. cyclones. But they are the same in spirit, spirals of warm air and ocean breath, moving across tropical waters with power and poetry. There's something beautifully reversed about this place. The Coriolis effect, that gentle nudge from Earth's rotation, works in the opposite direction here. And so, southern storms spin clockwise, their arms curling like a mirror image of the northern hurricanes we've already come to know. It's as if the Earth is balancing itself, one spiral to the right, one spiral to the left, maintaining perfect, slow symmetry. Cyclones in the southern hemisphere often form in two key regions: the southwest Indian Ocean, near Madagascar and the coasts of Mozambique and Tanzania; the South Pacific, near Australia, Fiji, and New Caledonia. In Australia, the season stretches from November to April, a time when the sea is warm, the air is still, and conditions align to bring a storm to life. Here, the storms are watched and named by the Bureau of Meteorology, or by other regional centres. Their names sound different: Ilsa, Yasi, Gita, Huda, but they carry the same quiet gravity. In 2015, Cyclone Pam passed through the South Pacific, bringing powerful winds to Vanuatu, carving a moment into history with waves and water and air. And Cyclone Winston, in 2016, became the strongest tropical cyclone ever recorded in the southern hemisphere. Its wind speeds reached over 180 miles per hour as it passed over Fiji, changing coastlines and shaping quiet stories for years to come. Yet even these southern cyclones, fierce though they may be, move with the same slow rhythm that we've come to trust. Warm water rising, air condensing, winds wrapping around a hollow center of calm. From space, you wouldn't know the difference. A cyclone and a hurricane look much the same, their clouds swirling like paint in water, their rain bands spinning out like ribboned arms. But if you zoom in, the wind moves the other way. Tonight, as you rest, let your thoughts drift southward, across the equator, to where everything moves just a little differently, but no less gracefully. Here, the moon rises at a different angle, the constellations are rearranged, and the storms still dance. Close your eyes. Imagine a cyclone spinning gently clockwise, turning slowly over deep, warm water. Let its motion lull you, balanced and quiet, and sleep now under mirrored skies. Tonight, we step into shadow, into the time when the world softens and storms come not with brightness, but with hush. This is the realm of the nighttime hurricane, a spiral that moves while the world sleeps, its breath brushing across sleeping fields, its fingers tapping gently on darkened windows. There is something different about a storm in the dark. Without the light of day, clouds become silhouettes. Lightning flickers like distant lanterns, and wind, that same wind we've studied with care, whispers differently at night. The world feels quieter, more intimate, and yet the storm continues. Rain begins to fall in soft pulses, drumming on rooftops, collecting in gutters, trickling down tree trunks like whispered secrets. Wind moves through the trees, not in sudden bursts, but in waves, bending branches in slow choreography. Sometimes you hear it before you feel it, a distant rushing sound, like the sea arriving through the air. Streetlights flicker, leaves skitter across pavement. The world outside becomes a canvas of sound, but inside you are still. Night hurricanes often feel more mysterious because we cannot see them. We rely on what we hear, what we sense. Our eyes rest while our ears stay gently awake. For some, the darkness brings unease, but for others, it brings focus. a moment to truly listen to the storm's rhythm. And behind that rhythm, the science remains the same. Satellites still trace the spiral. Radar still watches the rain. Forecasters still speak softly from their glowing screens. They do not sleep when the storm comes at night. They watch, they measure, they send out quiet updates to those who may be waiting, wondering. And when the eye passes over in darkness, it brings the strangest calm, a pocket of still air, often filled with starlight. Then, on the other side, the winds return. But even those winds, even that rain, carry a softness in the dark. Because night has a way of wrapping sound in cotton, of muting what might otherwise feel sharp. And when morning comes, the storm moves on. The air smells fresh, the trees glisten with dew, and the sun rises over a world that has listened and endured. Tonight, you don't need to fear the night wind. You only need to hear it. Let it be like a lullaby. Let the raindrops count the minutes as they fall gently outside your window. You are safe, you are warm, and the storm is only passing through. Let the darkness hold you, the wind sing to you, and the night hush you into rest. Sleep now. The storm will keep its watch until morning. Tonight, we linger at the edge of endings, not in the roar of wind or the pounding of rain, but in the soft, glistening hush that follows, the calm after the storm. When a hurricane moves on, it leaves behind more than puddles and wind-blown branches. It leaves behind a stillness, a moment suspended between what was and what's next. The air feels different, cooler, lighter, as if the atmosphere itself has exhaled. The skies begin to clear, slowly, tenderly, as clouds stretch and drift apart like tired dancers leaving the stage. And sometimes, in that magical space of calm, a rainbow appears. Not every storm ends with one, but when it does, it feels like a soft whisper from the sky. Rainbows form when sunlight returns, pouring in behind the last clouds and bending just so through the misty air. Each droplet of water acts like a tiny prism, breaking sunlight into color, red, orange, yellow, all the way to violet. And the rainbow arches quietly, often across the place where the storm first touched down, like a ribbon wrapped around the end of a story. It's not loud, it's not urgent, it's just there, fleeting and beautiful. After the storm, the world becomes more visible. Leaves glisten with droplets, tree trunks steam in the sun. Birdsong returns, tentative at first, then growing in confidence. In the distance, you might hear the sound of water, still moving, draining from ditches, flowing through creeks, settling into new places. The light feels warmer now, filtered through freshly washed air. Colors seem more vivid, shadows softer. For those who've weathered the storm, this calm is more than meteorological. It's emotional, it's spiritual. It's the moment where you realize you are still here. The world has turned, the wind has passed, and the quiet is real. Sometimes neighbors step outside and nod to one another. No words needed, just a shared understanding, carried in silence. You might smell pine, or salt, or the sweet scent of wet earth warming under sunlight. This is not the same calm as before the storm. It's deeper. It holds the memory of motion and the gift of rest. And while the cleanup may begin, while the work may slowly return, there's a pause, a softness, a moment to simply look at the sky and breathe. Let that be your moment tonight. Let your breath slow, as if you've just stepped outside into the post-storm light. The air is clear, the sky is vast, and a rainbow stretches quietly above you. The storm is over, and you, like the world, can rest. Before satellites, before radar, before models and maps and forecasts, there were animals, and they listened to the sky in ways we're only beginning to understand. Tonight, we turn to them, the creatures who sense the storm long before we do. You see, long before a hurricane arrives, long before clouds gather or winds rise, something begins to shift. The air pressure falls, the atmosphere grows heavy and strange. And to many animals, this shift is like a whisper, a signal to move, to hide, to change course. Birds are often the first to respond. Migratory birds, flying long distances over oceans, may turn around or change their path days before a storm ever forms. Radar sometimes shows them leaving an area en masse, wings beating silently through invisible corridors, guided by something deeper than instinct. Seabirds, like frigate birds and gulls, will fly far from their usual territories, circling high and fast to avoid the coming winds. Whales, deep in the oceans, have been known to dive before hurricanes arrive. Far below the surface, they find safety in stillness, listening to vibrations and shifts in the sea. Even sharks, those ancient swimmers, will often swim to deeper, cooler waters as a storm approaches. How do they know? They feel the change in pressure. They sense the ocean's movement. They listen to Earth's signals in ways our instruments can only mimic. Butterflies, delicate and weightless, sometimes cluster in unusual places before a hurricane. Scientists believe they may detect shifts in wind and pressure that tell them to wait, to stay still, to survive. Dogs and cats, too, can grow restless before a storm, pacing, hiding, alert to something unseen. A frequency, perhaps, a scent in the wind, an ancient warning passed down through fur and feather. Long ago, sailors would watch the animals as much as the sky. If birds disappeared, if horses grew nervous, if fish swam deeper, they knew something was coming. Even today, scientists study these patterns. They watch migration paths. They listen to the rhythm of coral reefs, to the pulse of the sea's oldest inhabitants, because nature speaks, always. And if we listen, we may hear what the animals already know. Tonight, let us rest like the creatures do, tuned gently to the world, but without worry. Imagine yourself as a sea turtle, nestled safely in the sand, sensing the distant shift, but knowing you are still. Or a heron, calm in the reeds, letting the wind pass above. Or a whale, diving deep, where the water is quiet and whole. Let the storm drift far above. Let the instincts of the wild be your lullaby, and sleep as the animals sleep, with wisdom, with stillness, with trust in the rhythms of the earth. Tonight, we step into a moment so soft, so quiet, that it almost disappears into the air itself. It's the hush, the stillness before the storm. Not everyone notices it, but those who do speak of it in whispers, a feeling more than a fact, an atmosphere more than a sound. As a hurricane draws near, before the first winds stir, there's often a pause. Birdsong stops. Leaves hang motionless. Even the insects seem to hold their breath. It's as if the earth is preparing, but not in panic, in reverence. This moment of stillness happens for a reason. As the hurricane approaches, its outer spiral bands may not have reached land just yet, but the low pressure at its core is already influencing the world around it. Air is being pulled inward. The wind begins to shift direction, slowly aligning with the storm's flow. In this transition, there may come a point where the wind simply stops. It's not forever, just long enough to make the world feel strange, like a held breath waiting to be released. Clouds gather, but they move slowly. The sky dims, but not with drama, with a softness like dusk at midday. Some describe it as eerie, others as peaceful, but always, it feels like a threshold. For sailors at sea, this stillness can signal the moment to prepare. For animals, it is a time to retreat. For those watching the weather, it is the beginning of something unseen, but deeply felt. The air may feel heavier, thicker, more humid. Sounds seem to carry farther, and yet everything feels quieter. It's not unlike the silence that falls in a theatre just before the curtain lifts, or the calm that settles over a forest before the first snow begins to fall. A pause, pregnant with possibility, and then the first raindrop, the first breeze, curling like a ribbon along the trees. The storm arrives, not with a crash, but with a quiet beginning. But tonight, we stay in that moment just before, in the stillness, in the breath held by the sky. Let it remind you of your own pauses, the quiet between thoughts, the rest between heartbeats, the softness that lives inside even the busiest day. Breathe slowly. Feel the calm settle around you. The storm may be coming, but not now, not here. This moment is still, and so are you. Sleep in the hush. Let the world hold its breath as you exhale. Tonight, we drift into stories, not forecasts or data, but myths, tales told by firelight, whispered by waves, passed down on wind. For long before hurricanes were tracked by satellites, they were understood through storytelling. Across the Caribbean, many spoke of Huracan, the Mayan god of wind, storm, and fire. It's from this name that our modern hurricane is drawn. Huracan was said to shape storms with his breath, stirring the seas, bringing change, then vanishing again into the sky. In West African traditions, powerful spirits called Orishas rule the elements. Oya, the goddess of storms, is said to dance through the wind, bringing rain and thunder in her swirling skirts. She is fierce and wise, a reminder that storms are not punishments, but part of a larger balance. In Polynesian legend, storms are guided by the moods of the sea gods. Some islands speak of ancient turtles who carry the winds on their backs, and when they dive too deep, the air above them spins. Even in Norse mythology, the winds were given form, giants and horses pulling clouds across the sky, their gallops turning into gales. And in the Philippines, stories were told of Amihan, a bird who calms the seas, and Habagat, who brings the monsoon winds. These stories are not merely fantasy, they are language used by ancestors to make sense of patterns, to remember the seasons, to understand the breath of the world. And often, the stories are filled with respect. Storms were not seen as evil, but as sacred, as powerful messengers from the earth or sky. Some cultures would leave offerings before the hurricane season, bowls of fruit, songs sung to the sea, as if saying, "We see you, we honor you, pass gently, if you must come." Even today, some of these old beliefs live on, not in superstition, but in the quiet way we speak about storms. We name them, we remember them, we watch the sky with reverence, and speak of Mother Nature as something alive, something listening. Because even now, with radar and sensors and satellite eyes, there is mystery in the spiral. There is something ancient about a storm that moves across the sea with no master, only rhythm. Tonight, let those stories hold you. Let the myths float around your mind like clouds shaped from memory. The gods are resting, the seas are calm, the wind has found its place in dream. And you, dear one, are held in the oldest story of all, the rhythm of nature, the dance of air and sea, and the silence that follows a tale well told. sleep now. The legends will wait for you. Welcome back, friend. Tonight, we follow the spiral. Not the eye, not the center, but the graceful arms that reach outward, curling slowly, drawing ribbons of wind and rain across the sea. These are rain bands, the stretched, swirling limbs of a hurricane, extending sometimes hundreds of miles from the storm's core. They do not roar all at once. They pulse in long, sweeping arcs, a breath in, a breath out. Rain. Pause. Rain again. Rain bands are not chaotic. They are ordered, curved bands of clouds, rain and embedded storms, each rotating gently around the storm's center, like the arms of a galaxy. Some bring light showers, drizzles that patter gently against the sea. Others carry thunderstorms, flashes of lightning and winds that whistle through tall grass and coastal palms. But always, they move with rhythm. So, how do they work? As warm air spirals inward toward the hurricane's low-pressure core, it begins to rise, lifted by the heat it carries. Moisture in that air condenses into clouds, and the release of latent heat gives the air even more buoyancy, fueling towering thunderclouds that climb into the sky. These clusters of rising air organize themselves into long, curved bands, spaced apart by areas of sinking air, where skies may briefly clear. That's why, during a hurricane, you may feel moments of calm, lulls between bands, glimpses of stillness between bursts of wind and rain. Meteorologists track rain bands closely. They can give clues about a storm structure, its strength, its organization, its possible future changes. If bands are tightly packed and well-defined, the storm is likely intensifying. If they begin to fray or break apart, the storm may be weakening, unraveling like a spool of thread. Sometimes, these bands even stretch far from the storm, bringing tropical rains to places hundreds of miles inland. You might not see the hurricane, but its outer arms may reach you all the same. And within the strongest rain bands, small spirals can form, called mesovortices. Tiny tempests nested within the larger storm, brief but potent. From above, the rain bands look like strokes on a canvas, soft lines curved around a central swirl, as if painted by the wind. Each band flows with purpose. Each one plays its part. And when the storm has passed, the rain bands fade, their clouds pulled apart, their winds calmed, their rhythm dissolving into the larger breath of the atmosphere. Tonight, let those swirling arms rock you to sleep. Feel their curved motion, their alternating hush and hum. Imagine standing on a quiet porch, eyes closed, as a distant rain band passes overhead. A moment of rain, then peace. Let your breath follow the spiral. Inhale gently, exhale slowly, like the bands circling the storm and circling you. Tonight, we paint with the storm, not with noise, not with numbers, but with color, because even hurricanes, for all their motion and strength, carry a palette as soft as sleep. Look closely, and you'll see that hurricane clouds are never just grey. They begin, often, in gunmetal tones, deep, smooth greys that stretch across the sky like brushed steel. Not threatening, but heavy, settled, weighted with water and wind. As the spiral turns, the sun may pierce the edges, revealing moonlit whites along the tops of clouds, where ice crystals glitter in the uppermost reaches of the storm. And beneath, the clouds between earth and sky, a strange light sometimes forms, a soft green hue. This isn't the green of trees or grass, but something subtler, a filtered glow caused by sunlight scattering through thick moisture, reflected back from fields or oceans below. It's a quiet color, a color of suspense, of atmosphere holding its breath. Pilots flying near hurricanes sometimes speak of these greens and blues, like something seen from under the sea. Inside the eye, if the sun breaks through, the world may turn golden, bathed in amber light, surrounded by tall, shadowed clouds on all sides. The contrast is sharp, but beautiful. At sunset, hurricane clouds become dramatic. Their high towers catch the light and turn orange, then rose, then the deepest purple as the day folds into night. Even the rain carries colour, sometimes silver in the daylight, sometimes charcoal beneath a grey sky, and sometimes, in the wake of lightning, a sheet of pale blue. And after the storm, the world feels washed, not blank, but renewed. Leaves glisten, skies deepen, the sun returns in golden strokes, and sometimes, as we've said before, a rainbow curves above it all. Meteorologists use tools to read cloud colour, infrared imagery, visible satellite scans, false colour maps. But you don't need those tools to see the poetry in a storm. Just a window, just a moment, just the willingness to look. Because every hurricane is also a painting, one that changes hour by hour, layer by layer, light by light. Tonight, let these colours swirl in your imagination. Visualize the calm steel greys, the stormy whites, the dreamy greens. Let them drift across your thoughts like brushstrokes on a canvas. You are safe, warm, and still. Outside, clouds may move, rain may fall, but inside your mind, the storm is colour, soft, slow, and full of light. Sleep now. Let the sky close its palette and fade gently to dark. Welcome back, friend. Tonight, we follow a long journey, a spiral of wind and water that travels not just miles, but oceans. Some hurricanes live only briefly, forming, spinning, and fading within days. But others are travellers. These are the storms that cross entire oceans, guided by wind and pressure, touching coasts on one continent, and later brushing the shores of another. They do not hurry, they drift, steered gently by high-pressure ridges and low-pressure troughs, by the breath of the upper atmosphere. Let's follow one such storm. It begins, as so many do, off the coast of West Africa, a quiet tropical wave, curling westward along the equator, riding warm waters beneath a pale sky. At first, it's just clouds, then thunderstorms, then a gentle spiral. It becomes a named storm over the central Atlantic, turning, breathing, feeding on warm seas and rising air. It moves west, towards the Caribbean, brushing islands, curling into the Gulf of Mexico. Some storms land there, but others turn. Caught by a dip in the jet stream, the storm bends northeastward, out into the open Atlantic again. It crosses the entire ocean basin, a full arc from Africa to Europe, leaving behind a trail of softened waves and memory. By the time it reaches colder waters, it changes. The warm core cools, the structure shifts. It becomes extratropical, no longer a hurricane, but still a storm, still moving, still whispering across coasts and countryside. Some cross all the way to Ireland or the United Kingdom, bringing long rains, gentle wind, and cloudy skies to lands far removed from where the spiral first began. Others travel across the Pacific. Born near Central America, they drift westward, sometimes crossing the entire ocean to touch the shores of Japan, Taiwan, or the far corners of the South China Sea. The longest-lived hurricanes may last 2 weeks or more, their names spoken on different continents, their paths drawn in slow curves across the sea. They are not feared for their length. They are marvelled at, observed, recorded. From space, their journey looks like a ribbon draped across the globe, a testament to the atmosphere's quiet persistence. Each day, they breathe, they move, they change. And even when they are gone, the waves they stirred continue onward, carrying their rhythm into the future. Tonight, imagine you are a passenger riding one of these storms. Not inside it, but above it, drifting gently on its wind, from coast to coast, from sunrise to starlight, crossing water wide and blue. There is no rush, only movement, only breath. Sleep now, with the sound of waves below and the wind's long memory above. Tonight, we listen for something you cannot hear, a quiet signal hidden in the air itself. It's called pressure. And when it comes to hurricanes, pressure tells a story, one of deepening breath, of tightening spirals, of gathering strength. Air pressure is the weight of the atmosphere above you. It presses gently on everything, all the time, like a soft hand resting on your shoulder. When the weather is calm, that pressure stays steady, high and quiet, keeping skies clear and winds light. But in a storm, it falls, and in a hurricane, it falls dramatically. The center of the storm, the eye, is a place of very low pressure, so low that the air around it rushes inward, feeding the spiral, accelerating the wind. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. Meteorologists measure this with a barometer, an instrument that watches the atmosphere's weight. Each drop in pressure is a signal that the storm is intensifying, that the engine is running hotter, the winds are tightening, and the spiral is deepening. For example, a hurricane with a pressure of 980 millibars is strong. One at 950 is stronger still. And when the pressure dips into the 900s and 30s, the 900s and 20s, the 900s and 10s, we know the storm is becoming one of the most powerful on record. The lowest pressures ever recorded in hurricanes have reached down below 880 millibars, like in Typhoon Tip, or Hurricane Wilma, or Patricia in the Eastern Pacific. And yet, to stand near the storm, you might not notice the pressure directly. You'd feel the wind, see the clouds, hear the rain, but the pressure would remain invisible, silent. Still, it governs the whole storm. It is the core signal, the quiet breath beneath the thunder. Some people say they can feel low pressure in their joints, in their sinuses, as a heaviness in the air before the rain begins. Animals feel it too. We talked about that, remember? Whales dive, birds fly away, butterflies wait, because something is changing, not loudly, but deeply. Even the shape of the storm depends on pressure. Lower pressure draws air inward faster, creating stronger winds. It also allows for taller cloud towers, as warm, moist air rises more easily. And when the storm begins to weaken, the pressure rises again, gently, predictably, like an exhale. Tonight, imagine you're holding a barometer in your hands. Its needle moves, slowly, delicately, telling you not what is, but what is coming. Watch it dip, feel the anticipation, and then let it go. You are not in the storm. You are above it, outside it, safe, and the pressure, like your thoughts, is beginning to rise. Sleep now, the wind will wait, and the air will steady itself by morning. Tonight, we look upward, to the softest light in the night sky, the moon glowing above the sea, watching hurricanes turn from afar. The moon has no voice, no wind, no clouds of her own, and yet she moves the ocean. Her quiet pull creates the tides, lifting and lowering the water each day, as if the sea itself is breathing in time with the moonlight. And while the moon doesn't make hurricanes, she gently influences them. Let's drift into that idea together. When the moon is full or new, her gravitational pull aligns with the sun's, creating spring tides. not named for the season, but for the way they spring higher than usual. These tides raise the baseline of the sea just a little more. So, when a hurricane comes with storm surge, those lunar tides can make the difference. A little more water, a little farther inland, a little more to watch. She does not rush the waves, she just guides them. Now picture a hurricane at night, moving beneath a full moon. The clouds shine silver, outlined in quiet white. Rain falls like silk through moonbeams, and the sea reflects light in broken, glimmering shards. This moonlit glow gives satellite sensors a clearer view of storms at night. The moon becomes a partner in observation, a lantern held aloft for those who study the sky. And still, her pull is steady. Some scientists have wondered if lunar gravity subtly affects storm formation, if the tides of the atmosphere, not just the ocean, shift ever so slightly with the moon. The evidence is still soft, still forming, like clouds before they gather. But we know this. The moon's rhythm is old, predictable, trusted. Fishermen, sailors, and coastal dwellers have followed her light for generations, watching her shape the sea and sky with gentle persistence. Hurricanes follow many paths, influenced by pressure, wind, and ocean heat. But when they meet the shore, the moon is there, and she adds her whisper to the waves. Tonight, as you lie beneath her glow, know that the moon is watching still. Not in judgment, but in companionship. She pulls the sea, she tugs at the tides, and she glows through the clouds, as if lighting a path for passing storms. Let her light soothe you now. Let her rhythm rock you, like the tide that lifts and falls and lifts again. Sleep under her gaze. The moon is high, and the ocean is listening. Not all hurricanes reach us. Some stay far from shore, spinning in open water, drifting through long, empty stretches of sea, where no city waits, no tree bends, no window rattles. These are the sleepy storms, the quiet ones, the ones that live their whole lives out at sea. They begin, like all hurricanes do, a warm patch of ocean, a rising column of air, a gathering of clouds. They grow slowly, quietly, finding their shape in the deep solitude of open water. Meteorologists still name them, track them, measure their winds. But often, they do not come close to land. Instead, they drift. Some spin westward for a while, then curve gracefully north, caught by a passing current of air. They recurve, a soft turn toward colder waters, where they fade into memory. Others spin in remote corners of the Pacific, or the southern Indian Ocean, where only ships and satellites witness their passage. These storms move through weeks of open sky, rain falling only on the sea, winds brushing nothing but waves. And when they weaken, they do so alone, their clouds stretching thin, their breath softening, their spiral loosening like a dream dissolving with dawn. They leave no headlines, no roads to repair, no trees to replant, but they leave ripples. Their wind stirs the surface, their rain cools the sea, and their spiral lives on in the data we collect, in the memory of waves. These storms are not wasted. They are part of the balance, helping the earth release heat, helping the oceans speak to the sky. And in their quiet passage, there is something deeply poetic. Not every storm must arrive. Not every spiral must strike. Some are simply meant to turn. And tonight, that turning is yours. Imagine such a storm now, spinning slowly in the middle of a vast, empty sea. No land in sight, only stars above, only silence below. Its winds are steady, its eye is clear, and its journey is peaceful. Let that be your path to sleep, not toward anything urgent, not rushing to arrive, just floating, just being, just spinning gently in your own still water. Some storms stay far away, some never touch land, and some, like you tonight, simply rest in motion. Sleep now. The sea is wide, and the spiral is soft. And as our journey winds down, we leave behind the spiral arms of the storm and drift into calm waters once again. The winds have softened, the clouds have opened, and you've gently floated through the breath of hurricanes, the rhythm of rain, and the quiet wonder of the skies above. I hope this brought you a sense of calm, a soft curiosity, and maybe a deeper comfort in the swirling beauty of the atmosphere. The weather will always turn, but tonight you are still. If you'd like to support these gentle weather journeys, you're welcome to like or subscribe, only if it brings you peace. There's never any pressure here. Your presence is more than enough. You've travelled through light and wind, through moonlit clouds and quiet tides. Now you can rest. Let the winds fade in your mind. Let your thoughts settle like quiet rain. Let sleep wrap around you like a warm coastal breeze. You are safe, you are held, and the skies are calm. Peaceful dreams, calm skies to you, and good night.